For today's episode of the Two Limes and a Lemon podcast, we discuss a psychological thriller that goes beyond the traditional profiling to physically entering the killer's consciousness to find the kidnapped victim before she drowns in an impenetrable glass cell. As anyone who's had a dream can attest, the subconscious mind is a weird and sometimes frightening place, so just keep reminding yourself, it's not real.
Are we having theme music? Like, how do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's gonna do us some, like, a jingle, I think.
Dave.
Nat.
Danielle.
Two limes and a lemon.
Hi, and welcome to the Two Limes and a Lemon podcast. We're in our series of Hear Me Out films, and this week I'm hosting for my Hear Me Out film. I'm Danielle, and these are my two co-hosts, Nat and Dave.
Hi, I'm Nat.
I'm Dave.
As we do every week, we're going to start off with everybody's been consuming. This can be some sort of book, movie, TV show, or even something you've eaten this week. Just whatever's consumed you. And so let's start off this week with Natalie. Natalie, what's been consuming you?
Well, I just started a new series on Amazon Prime, one that I saw came up ages and ages ago and then forgot all about it, which is the Clarice series. Clarice Starling from Silence of the Lambs.
I forgot all about that.
Me too. And then it came up and I was like, oh yeah, that was a series that I really wanted to watch at one point, but it wasn't on anything because I really loved the Hannibal series with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that it's going to be like filling in for that. But I'm on I've just finished episode 2 and so far it's really good. It's it takes place like after Silence of the Lambs. So it's like she's just done the whole Buffalo Bill thing and she's got like PTSD and trauma obviously from that. But the other people in the FBI are like saying that she's like reckless because obviously when she went and like killed Buffalo Bill, she was told not to go in there and things. So it's like her trying to prove her worth and being like a profiler. The girl that she rescued that was down the well in Buffalo Bills, her mum was like a senator in the movie, and so she has like put her on like a special task force, but Clarice has obviously got trauma and the daughter that she saved is always trying to talk to her, and Clarice don't really want to like associate with her because I think it makes it more real sort of thing because they're the only two that know how bad it was in there. So but it's interesting, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, so that's what I've started. I will let you know maybe long down the line once I finish the series if it was any good. But the first 2 episodes are really good.
Was it just one season?
Just one season so far. Okay. I don't know how long ago it was made, but I feel like it wasn't too long ago.
I think this was out when I was at uni.
Season.
So,
Clarice.
Oh no! What was the old one that was out years ago? Yeah, is this something? I thought you were talking about that one. Is this something completely new?
No, this is a different series.
Oh.
Hannibal
so this came out
good.
in 2021, so possibly there aren't going to be another season, but...
Yeah. How about you, Dave? What have you been consuming?
Up to? So I have been obsessed with sort of like house makeovers at the moment. It's all I seem to be watching. I finished Alan Carr and Amanda building up houses now. I've now discovered some other couple. So this is Banjo and Ro. These Australian sort of like gay couple with a dog called Grandad, and they are in Scotland and they're trying to do up a Grand Island hotel. So the little island you can only get to by boat. It's called like Ulva, I think. And they're building up this like really disheveled hotel to make it look really like aesthetically pleasing, mixing a bit of their Australian background with the Scottish Isles. So you got like loads of these colourful characters, like there's like flower contests and stuff, and then there's all these like older ladies and this old guy who lives on the island as well, and he's like, oh, I don't like how many plants they're putting in this place. They've all got like these like thoughts of what they're doing to the hotel to make it their own. Because they're trying to make it looks very indie and kind of hipstery looks in some bits, but you could tell the old people like it, but also some of them will tell you if they hate it or not. So it's quite funny to see that journey. And the dog's great, and there's like a lot of drama going on with like the floods coming through the house, and it's all like, I don't know, something about people building homes now, just because I'm in my flat and I'm always like, I want to do this now. interior decorating is not my favorite type of TV show. So I will work my way around these different TV shows. But at the moment, I think there's like 7 episodes or so. So I'm getting all the way through. They're almost done with the whole thing. So
You should watch Escape to the Chateau. That's a good one.
yeah.
That's like a French one, but it's like English people doing it up.
But I don't know. I like the people doing up houses now. It's my new thing. It's my new jam.
So yesterday, I got to see the stage production of Wicked. And as a musical theater fan, I had never seen it before.
Is it any good?
I mean, I think Natalie agrees with me. The stage production is really good.
I've only got the film to go off. So.
I watched the stage show like many moons ago in London, and it was really good. Much better than when I watched the film, I feel like. So I don't know if it's just like because you're there and it's the experience and everybody else's like vibes around you, like making it better. But I definitely enjoyed the stage show better than the movie.
I would say, I think, for me, I thought the first movie was really well done. I think again, as a musical theater fan, I have been hit or miss with a lot of modern filmed musicals. I feel sometimes they really don't work for me. But I felt like the first movie did, whereas the second movie I felt less so. And in seeing and I was really nervous then for the second act of the play. I thought, I'm just going to be bored for this last hour. But I think it works better as a second act than a full movie on its own because all the strongest songs are in the first half. I recommend if it comes to your town and you're kind of interested, see it. It's a lot of fun. It's like a spectacle type of like Phantom of the Opera where the chandelier falls down on you. It's like, big
That's one I've always
theater.
wanted to see actually in person. I've wanted to see Phantom of the Opera. That would be a really good one to go see.
Yeah, I lucked out. My dad lived in New York City in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever the original run was playing. And when I went to visit him, he got us like all the way, like, because it was always sold out, all the way in the back seats.
Yeah.
And so I got to see, like the Phantom of the Opera.
We wanted to go see it for my birthday once in London, and we got all the way up there because we were like, hopefully we'll be able to get like cheaper tickets in the day, and it was completely sold out. So then we ended up going to see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it worked because Andrew Lincoln was in the audience behind us, and then he wished me happy birthday.
You did.
It was meant to be.
He was like, "Who have you come to see?" We're like, "No one. We come just to watch this.
Yeah,
we don't hang out with
We've
children."
come because we did it. Yeah.
Didn't he know like one of the kids or something from?
Yeah, he did. He was there to see someone in the cast.
I want to see Paranormal Activity. That's like a
Oh, yeah. I think it's in
Stage show
LA
at
right
the
now.
moment.
There's still.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went to see The Woman in Black. That was really good.
I kind of want to see some horror stage
Horror
shows.
stage shows, yeah.
But speaking of horror,
Psychological horror, sort of.
That segues into today's Hear Me Out feature, which I chose, which is the 2000 film The Cell. So let me give a quick synopsis of this film. This film is about the serial killer Carl Starger, who kidnaps women and turns them into his personal dolls. FBI agent Peter Novak and Gordon Ramsay, played by Jake Weber. There's a girl who's been kidnapped. They want to find out where she is. Using their profiling skills, they're able to find Starger, but he immediately goes into this coma because he has this made-up viral-induced schizophrenia.
Yeah, I saw that. Wayland's infraction.
Yes.
And I looked it up and they were like, that's a fake disease made up for the movie.
Yeah. So they hook up with this psychological institute that has this cutting edge technique where this psychiatrist is able to neural link with another person and is able to go into their subconscious. And so she goes into the serial killer's subconscious, which is this nightmare scape of what he has sort of that he has constructed for himself, and tries to figure out where the missing girl is. And they're able to basically rescue the girl in the nick of time.
Mm-hmm.
why did you pick this film? Why do you want to hear me out? What is it that you felt like you had to torture us with this?
This is a movie that I saw when it came out. It fit right in with my jam of the type of movies I liked then, still like now. There was there were a lot of these like psychological thrillers coming out at that time. And then I just remember the trailers for it having these awe-inspiring visuals. And so that's my experience with it. I have loved this film since it came out. When we were thinking of Hear Me Out films this time, I went through my DVD collection and pulled out a bunch that I hadn't watched in a while, and then looked up to see if these were just things that I loved and weren't universally loved, and indeed found that this was fairly critically panned and people don't feel like they understand the plot very well on it. Or I wanted to ask my friends if they agree with the masses, if they agree with me, or if their opinions are somewhere in between. And so, Nat and Dave, have you guys ever seen this film prior to watching it for the pod?
So yeah, I've never seen it, never heard of The Cell. Saw Jennifer Lopez was the main star in the movie, and was like, okay, let's go for it, let's see what happens. And I was just baffled by the entire thing. I just was not interested in a single thing of this whole movie. I'm with the rest of the crowd that say like, why is this film being made? What is this? So it weren't for me to. So I'm really sorry, Danielle. It just felt like it was a perfume commercial with trying to explaining psychology, but I did. No, it wasn't for me.
Okay, Nat.
I had heard of The Cell, but I had never watched it. I don't know why, but I had it in my head that it was almost like really risque. Like, I remember when it came out, and I feel like everybody was like saying how like rude and sexy it was, I feel like. But upon watching it, I don't know if it's just because I'm like, I don't know, desensitized to things like that now, but it could have even just been like a 12. It's not that bad. I think although it has been like critically panned, it still did really well at the box office. Like, it was made on a £33 million budget and made like 104 million. It did well financially, but I don't know if that's just because of all the talk about it. I suppose when it came out, it was J-Lo. It was
I think the J-Lo of it all probably got a lot of people.
You don't think it was the horse getting split in loads of pieces?
Well, that was very much at the time, isn't it? There was like that Damien Hirst art piece at the time, so it was kind of like putting real life aspects into it, which funnily enough, when I saw that, I thought of Hannibal, like on topic very much, because in season 2 there's a character that has that happen to her and she's put in the glass slide things, so I was like, oh, that's very Hannibal-esque. I mean, I wouldn't say I hated it. I like a psychological thriller. I feel like there's ones that are obviously better than that, like you've got to solve a case before a particular time. It's very like Seven-esque, I suppose, in a way, but also like the visuals, like you say, like it reminded me of, I think I spoke about it last week with Noah, with Darren Aronofsky, but like The Fountain, those sort of like rich visuals. And also there was a 2005 movie called Mirror Mask, which was
I've seen Mirror Mask.
But it was very much the same sort of...
Yeah, Rob Brydon.
Yeah, right?
Why is Rob Brydon?
Yeah, so the film is rubbish, but the visuals are very, like, decadent.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminded me of that. But I wouldn't say it was my favourite film, no, if we're doing, like, a brief overview.
Sure. Yeah, I think you hit upon a lot of things that I love about it. The visuals are very much the priority of the director, you can tell. And listening to Tarsum Singh's commentary, those were the most important elements. And it seemed like him and the screenwriter were at complete odds. And apparently the screenwriter has disavowed this film and hopes one day that it can be remade like more to his vision. And so my guess is he was very focused on the psychological thriller aspect, whereas the director wanted these lush, dreamlike sequences.
Spectacle.
Yeah. And so that leads me to my first question, which is a lot of the critiques of this film are that it prioritizes style over substance. For me, I'm somebody that likes kind of a auteur style of things. Like, I like a Wes Anderson film. I love David Lynch. These are directors who oftentimes prioritize the setting and look of the film maybe over acting ability or plot lines. Yeah. And I wondered if the two of you, if you agreed with the critics of it.
So yeah, I think I kind of see your point. You can kind of let it slide a bit, but I think if a film like this, when it's trying to be grounded in reality with like the real world scenario with this into someone's mind thing, and it's all this surreal, I think that's where I get a bit lost and just disengaged. There's a film, I can't remember, it's about a guy telling he's like telling a story to his daughter or something like that, and she's sick, and that's the main premise there, but they've got this really surreal, and it's filmed like this, very bright colors and very visual. That kind of worked because it was all about this imaginary kind of land thing story, but because this was meant to be set in, I guess, dreams and reality, for me it just
was it The Fall?
was trying to be too
There's
Fall.
another movie that this director did. It was like 6 years later, called The Fall, that has a similar premise to that. I think it was maybe the adult was sick, and then this very dreamlike part of it as well.
It is The Fall. Sorry, yeah, that was no, wait, before. Yeah, The Fall. That's very much like
Yeah, it's the same director.
It's the same director. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I could reword the whole thing. Well, that's great then, because I've pinpointed that area. So I feel okay then. So 2000, maybe that was his experimental film, and then he's gone to do The Fall, which is full whack with surrealism. But I feel that works better because he's telling a story, and you can be more visual with that. But with this sort of like dreams thing, and it's mixed with this sort of crime drama, I was like, you've got too many, not too many, but you've got two separate genres there, and you've tried to mix it too much, and I don't think it just mixed that well. It kind of pick one or the other. I don't think it works.
Before we let Nat go into her answer of this, I just wanted to give some background to this director. So he had previously done like a bunch of music videos. He won an award for the REM video for Losing My Religion. He did this. This was his like first feature film. It was another 6 years until he did The Fall, and then he did that Mirror Mirror film. The
Julia Roberts one.
Yeah, and then
I've seen that.
He's done something called The Immortals that I
remember that with Henry Cavill.
Yeah, and
I've seen that. It's very 300-esque.
And then
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
for the most part, he's done like very high profile advertising campaigns, and so.
Well, that's funny because Dave said it was like a perfume advert. So
it's a music video.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Nat, Lee Pace is in The Fall as well.
Yeah,
he is.
Thranduil.
I was looking it up.
I didn't even recognise it was him at the time. The Fall is a good. Have you seen The Fall, Nat?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a really good film.
Oh,
it's better.
We'll figure out a way to watch that later.
To work that in.
Yeah, I remember. I haven't watched it since, but I remember loving it. But then again, I also had the background of. I probably watched it because I liked this. So unlike Dave.
Yeah, probably.
So, anyways, Natalie, back to the style over substance question.
Yeah, right. Way back there. Yes, I feel like there was more style over substance. I was just trying to think, did this come out around the same time as Matrix? The original Matrix, didn't it?
Yeah, it must have.
A little bit after.
Matrix.
I want to say the Matrix came out still in the 90s.
Yeah, so it's very much like around that era there was a lot of movies where people were going into other worlds, and it's like if you die in that world then you're gonna die in the real world, and
make sure you wear leather.
Yeah, a lot of leather. Yeah, I feel like there was a little bit too much style over substance. The whole beginning scene where she's in the desert in a long billowy white dress and there's a horse, and I almost didn't need that scene to be there. I feel like it dragged a lot, and I was very confused as to what the rest of the tone of the movie was going to be. I know they were trying to set it up to be she's a child psychologist and she's trying to help, but I feel like there's other way. You could have literally just explained it. And I know that they say show don't tell or whatever, but I feel just tell me.
It was very Gothica, wasn't it? Very Gothic telling the storyline.
But I think that it gave them a shorthand to kind of explain the technology as well, because
yeah, I get that.
It's very clear that there's two very distinct storylines in this. There is the psychological thriller, which is at the heart of it a very straight FBI looking for the serial killer's victim who has been hidden. And then there's also this psychological profiling going into the neural network. So first I wanted to go into the procedural thriller aspects and discuss that a little bit. As a thriller its own, especially Natalie, who you said you like these kind of things, did you like the psychological thriller part of it?
Yeah, I enjoyed the psychological thriller part. I feel like when it got back to like the realistic everyday parts, that I was a bit more engaged than the I don't know, like obviously the dreamlike parts are a bit harder to follow. It's all a bit symbolic, and I preferred like the more straight-laced, there's a woman in a tank that's about to fill up, we need to get there in a certain amount of time. Like that in its own right could have been a story without the psychological part for me.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the woman in the tank, so when that woman auditioned, they asked her, "Can you swim?" And she said, not only could she swim, she had been a lifeguard. And so they hired her for the role. And then they get there, and it turns out she completely lied. She couldn't swim.
Oh, no.
In fact, she couldn't go underwater without holding her nose. So
Right.
Oh, wow.
the director, you could tell.
You think they would audition that and put her in a swimming pool or something,
Apparently,
at least? Like, there's a lot of money in this. Oh, can you just show us like, your swimming
I
techniques?
suppose you would think somebody wouldn't lie about being able to swim. Like people like lie about like, yeah, I can ride a horse, because it's like, well, I can learn to do that quickly.
Yeah.
But like swimming and not being able to go underwater without holding your nose, you'd think people would be like, yeah, I'm not going to lie about that one.
Yeah, I could drown in this.
The procedural part of this brings us again back to what I think is a wasted character, Detective Gordon Ramsay, who is played by Jake
I
Weber.
wanted to see more him. Yeah, more just because of my love for American
Yes.
Gothic.
If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's so good.
It's amazing. It's only got one season, and it definitely should have had more, but it is still a great season as it is.
Justice for Jake Weber in this. He's just underused in it. His name is Gordon Ramsay, which is hilarious now. I don't think Gordon Ramsay was like a thing back in 2000 yet, at least for Americans. They missed out
It's a happy
on something that
coincidence.
was-
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just sort of Peter Novak's sidekick and doesn't really say much.
Do you think Jake Weber went to the premiere and was like, oh, I'm in a detective movie, it's going to be quite cool? And then he watches it, he's like, what the hell is all this other stuff? Because he's obviously not in the
barely
dreamscape
in it.
things.
Yeah.
So he's like, what?
There's a room that the participants need to be hooked up to, and then there's like a control room, and he's always in the control room watching.
That's the most he got in terms of like, oh, they got weird suits. Okay. It's like Matrix, maybe.
I don't understand the suits. Can we talk about the suits?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
They're like,
course.
they're made out of licorice, aren't they? It's like,
Oh, like they're like red vines, or whatever
Red
you call them in
vines,
America.
They look like musculature to me. They look like the skinned man sort of thing to
Oh, like Attack on Titan, sort of.
yeah, big muscle man.
No, my thing is, they're meant to be like sensory deprivation things, right? Because that's why they put the thing over the face, and they like lift them off the ground, right? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, I think because it's supposed to simulate like a weightlessness, like similar to being in an isolation tank. And the director said on the commentary, his vision for this was based on this. I think it was an 1970s or 80s film called Coma. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's based on a Michael Crichton book where all these people are going into comas, and they store the bodies sort of suspended. So there's like a scene where the protagonist finds this room full of people in comas suspended like that. And so that was his vision of
But
what
I'm like,
he
in
wanted.
reality, those suits are made out of like a thick leather material, it looks like. So if you're hanging those from a hook, you're still going to have the same feeling of something at your back, the same as if you were laid on a table. Like, I don't get it. Like, you've still got something underneath you. It's not like when you're in like a water deprivation tank, like 11 out of Stranger Things, or like Fringe is a show I used to watch where they used to go into a water one all the
that's
time.
another good one.
I think it's just some weird aesthetic that he went with.
Yeah, I just
I
feel
think
like,
so.
was it
And
needed?
I also think it ties into, they show Starger going through this ritual he has with the with the first girl that we see that he's kidnapped. He keeps them in this isolation tank where he eventually drowns them. Part of his ritual is he has the body on like a surgical table. He's got hooks implanted into his back and the back of his arms, and he suspends himself over the body. He's not there whenever the girls die. And so after he's drowned them, he goes to retrieve the body, and he's watching, and she's just died. And so he's standing in front of the tank looking at her. Well, before that, he's like massaging her nipple through the glass. Like he's like,
oh, I never noticed that.
Yeah, he's like rubbing the glass
one off,
right where her nipple is. No, not yet. He's just rubbing it. And then she starts to twitch because she is not completely dead.
It's such a weird film.
But he runs over to because he's got monitors on her because he wants to later watch all of this happen, but he can't be in the room. And I think once we get into the dream sequences and in his brain kind of explaining why he has this thing, but he runs over to the monitors and he puts his hand between his legs. So clearly,
that's it. Yeah, and that's when he cuts to the water going coming out. Yeah. I will say though, the guy who made it, who the actor Vincent, I can't know his last name. D'Onofrio. Yeah. He did go for it. He went full crazy killer. I would say he was like he was like, I'm going to play this serial killer. I'm going to play the weirdo.
He's one of my favorite actors. If we were going to do an Into the Woods based on my preferences, we would do all Vincent D'Onofrio films because but you guys would kill me because it would be so many weird and like disturbing
I've never seen him
films.
Before.
Oh, he's so good.
You've seen him in Jurassic World.
Is he? Who's
That's like the most mainstream thing that I can think of.
No, I can think of even more, and it's because he's much older and he was a lot heavier in it. You saw him in Daredevil. He played
Kingpin,
the guy who's shaped like a thumb. What's his name?
Kingpin.
Yeah.
Who's he playing in Jurassic World?
He's like the guy that gets his hand bitten off by the raptor right at the end.
That's not him, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
What?
See, he's an Elijah Wood. Maybe after we get through Elijah Wood ones, we can figure out some pun about Vincent D'Onofrio.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Is he the guy from Men in Black who's like...
Yes.
Is that him as well?
Yes.
Oh, the guy who's like...
Such a good
weird
actor.
Guy.
He has such range.
You mean the guy that
like,
the cockroach man
farmer that gets taken over?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's not Vincent D'Onofrio.
It is.
Oh my god. I didn't even know that was.
Scariest character I've ever seen.
He used to freak me out in Men in Black when I was younger, definitely.
Go on, leave this bit in then, Dad.
But he has such range. The other big aspect of this film is this within Starger's mind, and so this almost dreamlike subconscious.
I think where my issue lies with all the dreamscapes, I know we're going to look into them all, but I feel the movie treats it like it's a haunted house tour of like trauma. It's like, here's the abuse room, here's the religious guilt room, here's mummy issue hallway. It's kind of like it reduces the kind of like complex psychology kind of stuff into sort of like trauma cosplay rather than it's kind of like these are actual things.
Most,
kind of
like serial killer like classifications, most of it does stem from like childhood trauma. So I suppose there's not many ways you can go from like you're gonna have to do like what happened to them as a child because most of the most notorious serial killers in real life.
But I feel like it uses all of it, doesn't it? It's like abusive dad and then all the religious stuff and
the baptism.
And I'm like, okay, how many more do you want to throw in to make this is why he's bad kind of thing? It all turns this trauma stuff into a bit of a, I don't know, a bit too much. That's why I think that's where it fell flat for me.
Kind of like what we said when we watched Hush. Like, the scarier ones are the ones that don't really have a motive of why they're evil. They're just evil because they're evil. So when you try and, like, analyse it, it then obviously humanises them more, which makes them less scary for me. So sometimes I like the mystery of it's just a weirdo because it's a weirdo.
For me, like what you were saying about this... like almost a museum that you're going through the different rooms of his trauma. It didn't bother me so much because I feel like my dreams sort of act not to the Disclaimer, not to this.
What kind of clothes are you wearing in your dreams?
No.
you got some cool masks on. And
But there's like I find in my dreams, I'll be in one part of the dream and then kind of walk a bit, and then I'm in this completely different setting that is
Skinnamarink
subconscious thing of my own thing.
God,
But
what, she's just falling asleep in a dream.
Yeah. Skinnamarink 20-hour edition.
Yeah.
that would be my nightmare, living in skin.
Yeah.
I would put a sleep mask on because I would get such a headache being in that fuzziness all the time.
The dreamscape that sticks in my head the most when I think back on it isn't even the bits with like King Straga or whatever his name is. It's the one where Vincent Vaughn wakes up and it's just like three women crouched sitting in a field.
Oh, yeah.
With their hands clasped and they've got their mouths open looking up to the sky. And that's the one that actually stays with me more. And it was just a very simple thing. And it's based on some art piece. I can't remember the name, but that one was the most striking.
It's based on a painting called Dawn by a Norwegian painter named Odd Nerdrum.
Yeah, that to me is the best one.
I was like, oh, this is very Macbeth, the three crones at the start, kind of like.
The director said that they went on a big search to find three women that looked identical, and then they hired, triplets. I was going to say they hired triplicates. They hired triplets to do it. And then he was like, end of the day, we could have just done it digitally. We didn't need to worry
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the other bit that sticks in my mind is when he gets up from his throne and he's got them massive purple silky sheets that like pull. And I read it was like some of it was digital and some of it was practical, but it is a very good effect.
I think it's a lot of credit to the actor. He's like positioned in a very affected way, and he's got those rings in his back that are connected to this drapery that leads from behind the back and then circles throughout the room. And so he stands up and the curtain like disconnects from across the room at him. So he's like connected all the way around. And apparently the curtain up until the first corner of the room was real, and then they digitally created the rest of it.
Right.
And it's
very seamless. It's very good.
So cool.
All right, mine was the Gold King kind of look.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's got like these like diamond crown with like, I guess it's like horns coming up and this big massive collar. He was like, I am the king. It just at that point we were like, he looks like the like a bit of a conductor kind of weird like king on a card kind of thing. Alice in Wonderland-esque kind of style.
Like a playing card.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he looked a bit like a playing card, and his voice was a bit high-pitched. He was a bit like floating around the room kind of stuff, from what I remembered. But yeah, I think that was my favourite costume.
I remember. I'm having a look now. Cause
his little crown.
The king Carl reaches into his stomach and pulls his intestines out and attaches them to this machine that he can start almost like a music box wind up, and it starts winding his intestines up. So this leads to Danielle's fashion of the week, which is indeed the effort that they put into all of these dream images of the serial killer is amazing. And some might argue that they put a lot more effort into these looks than some substance in the film, but didn't bother me. A couple of them were so ornate and heavy that the actor couldn't move at all.
So speaking of costumes and fashion, do you know the red suits, the red thing they're in?
Yeah.
I thought it looked familiar. Have you seen Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of. She's like rehashed those armor up. It's the same costume designer as well.
Yeah,
so,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, she must have like. Hold on, I've got something. Let me just go down
I've
my
got
wardrobe.
some leftover red vines. Some more costumes.
Yeah.
But in that final scene, he emerges out of like a pool of water, and he's got this massive cloak on that's just like oxblood red with these like thorns almost on the back of it. And indeed, he could also not walk in that thing. It was too heavy. And so they got the scene with him coming out of the water in it, and then he quickly sheds the cape.
Whilst J-Lo is dressed as like the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
Baptism.
It was at that point I was out. I was like, I'm not in in this film anymore. This is
Well, in the last scene, whenever she reverses the neural network, she kind of looks at a few visual things, basically to arm herself with an atmosphere that she can control when she brings him into it. And so she looks at this card, which I think to most of us looked like a Virgin Mary, but apparently was a Brazilian water goddess.
Oh, okay.
And so in the director's mind, this was tying into the whole water thing even more. But it was very much like a Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
Yes.
In layman's, it's going to be, everyone's going to think it's Virgin Mary.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let's get to our faves, favorite characters, and favorite scenes. So let's go to the favorite characters first. Dave, who was your favorite character and least favorite character?
favorite character has to be the killer because he went for it. He took his assignment very professionally and was like, I'm going to play crazy guy, done. So yeah, he did really well. Least favorite character has to be Vince Vaughn. I don't know, something about Vince Vaughn I just don't like. I feel like the relationship at the end was shoehorned in.
Natalie?
I mean, pretty much the same, to be honest. My favourite, I was a bit more specific in that I picked the King version of Stargirl. Specifically, just because he was, like, aesthetically, I enjoyed watching him portray that version of the serial killer. Worst, again, yeah, Peter Novak, the Vince Vaughn character. More, I think, because I was disappointed that he had more of a part than Jake Weber, and I would have rather seen Jake Weber doing some more. So I was like, he's stolen bits that Jake Weber could have been doing. But yeah, he was probably my least favourite.
I'm going to go on a similar route. I'm going to close it out that I also thought Carl Starger, because he's the most developed and complex character, there's hard to watch this and not find him as like the best character. And I'll be a little bit different than Natalie and say I kind of like that we saw that he had this vulnerable childhood side that still sort of existed within him. But again, the grandiose image he has of himself is, much like what was happening in the film, sort of dominates over that. And then my least favorite character, only because I felt it was highly unused and should have been used more, was Detective Gordon Ramsay, Jake Weber. So similar with you, but I'm going to put the onus on they should have given Jake Weber a little bit more to do with that character. So how about favorite scenes? Natalie?
I'm going to go back to the one I mentioned just recently, which was the three women sitting in the field. Like, that was my favourite scene with Vince Vaughn waking up in his first experience in the, dream world.
Mm-hmm. Dave?
My favourite scene was the very end of the movie when she goes back to the kid, because the soundtrack, I was like, this is very Lord of the Rings-esque now.
Yeah.
And it was done by Howard Shore. Yeah, and I was like, this sounds so Lord of the Rings, kind of like burning of
the beacons.
Yeah. I was like, he's just rehashing some. I've got something similar. I'll just give this to this film. They're done. So it sounded very Lord of the Ringsy near the end of the film.
It did.
So that was a bit
How about
I liked.
you, Danielle?
I go back to when we first see Starger in his consciousness. So the scene with the curtain where he's sort of poised up and waiting for her, like, really sets up how he sees himself as this sort of king of his own domain.
Yeah.
So with that, let's go around and get some ratings.
I'll go first. I gave it a 2 out of 5. It's not my favourite film. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but I can appreciate that it's very aesthetically pleasing. Like, just to look at it as a visual standpoint, as almost like an art installation, it definitely had moments that I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And there's like you say, like tableaus of shots that stay with me more than the actual like acting parts of it. I suppose the visuals are what made it.
How about you, Dave?
I'm going to go with a 1 out of 5 limes. I just don't think it was for me. I can appreciate why people might like it, but I think just keep to one genre And I don't know, he got better as it went on because obviously the fall was really nice. So if you're still watching or listening, go watch the fall and then come back if you really like that style, and then go watch the Cell.
For me, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think there were a few little plot holes and a misuse of Jake Weber in it, but otherwise, I enjoyed it as much as whenever I watched it initially, and I understand why I bought the DVD player. This is like right up my alley of weird, sort of dreamlike imagery in films. I think for me, one of my favorite pieces of media is Twin Peaks, and I love all of David Lynch, and I think this kind of falls into that. It falls into that same genre where you've got a lot of very striking dream imagery that sometimes you can tell the director is paying more attention to than the direct plotting or whatever. And for me, it's not a problem. And I guess this made me learn in looking up the critical reception of this and talking to you guys that I am not the overriding voice on this. But I feel like there are weirdos like me out there too, and I think there is a love of this film.
Of course, there's got to be a mirror somewhere. There's got to be a
So with that, I want to thank you guys for indulging me in watching one of my favorite films from many years ago. And want to thank the audience for listening. So see you next time, guys.
Will we?
Hear me out.
Bye.